What's up, guys?
Whoa, did you guys hear that voice? Did you guys hear that? Mr. Cale Owen, what's going on, my friend?
What's up, Logan? How you doing, man?
Yeah, this is amazing. I don't know if you see, it's not just you and me, so no dirty jokes or anything crazy, but there's we got a few people on here today.
Just a few. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys definitely came to see Logan because you definitely did not come to see me. So I love seeing everybody here. Hope everybody's doing amazing. I love the comments blowing up.
Dude,
Fantastic.
it's gonna be wild, man. It's gonna be wild. People are pumped to hang out with you and to be able to be in proximity to you. Some people in here you'll recognize. I see a couple gym lords in
Mark,
here,
I
which is
think
pretty cool.
I see Mark on my first screen. What's up, Mark?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
see some gym lords on here, and then a couple people in here will probably be strangers. Most people will be strangers. But
love it.
as I told my daughter, like strangers are just friends we haven't met yet. So
Bingo.
here we are. Here we are.
Nice,
So
man.
yeah, so Cale, thank you so much for coming in here today. Everyone truly is excited. And yeah, I think that I just want to start this out by kind of sharing a little bit of the story of kind of how you and I met, and then for people to be able to hear the story from your point of view and to hear your words, because you're someone who's very good, you're very articulate, um, you're very humble. As you, did you guys see that? Like Cale was already like saying like you guys aren't here for me, right? You guys saw that? Like he's very humble, and at the same time, like he puts the work in, and he's someone worth listening to, and he's very careful with his words, and so when he does speak, like it's recommended to listen, right? Guy very crafty with his words. So yeah, man, you know I'll tell my version of the story, Cale, and then you can come in and you can tell your version, and then we have some questions that people want to ask you, so we'll definitely
Good.
make time for that. But dude, it was Albuquerque, New Mexico. So if you guys saw any of my Instagram posts, I shared a little bit of the story of kind of how Cale and I met, but it was 2017, Albuquerque, New Mexico, most beautiful place on earth. Maybe not so much, but a nice place. And Cale and I were on the heels of joining this program called Gym Launch. And man, I remember showing up to Albuquerque, and I was so excited. We had literally just done more revenue in 4 months of being with Gym Launch than we had done our previous 3 years of owning our gym. Right? I was freaking excited. I was excited to meet Alex and Layla, and excited to meet all the other gym owners that were inside the group. And that's actually where Cale and I met. I remember it was like at lunch the very first day. I think I actually had lunch with Dr. Cashy first, and I got to chat with him, and then you and I, Cale and Maggie. I can remember where we were sitting, and you were explaining to me about your gym. And the craziest part to me the whole time was that like Cale did his gym, and he had any of the full time job, and I was just like, dude, how do you? Like, you're crazy. I don't know how you do that.
I remember that
Um,
conversation too, because you literally said that.
dude, I seriously remember that. I remember that conversation. I was just like, you blew my mind. Like, I was like, how do you do that, man? Like, that's crazy. Um, and then yeah, so that's where we met, was at that mastermind, and it was a great weekend. It was very fun. But where our paths came even more connected was that you and I were the first gym owners that Alex actually brought on as employees of Gym Launch, right? And we both did the daily call, and we got to coach gym owners in a very similar setting to this, right? This is probably why you and I feel so comfortable in saying like this, is because we did this every single day for years. I mean, I did it for 2 years. You did it for longer than I did. But it was fun, and that's how you and I kind of came even more connected. And then yeah, at the end of, it was about in 2019, I I had like this internal pull of my attention, right? I was obviously growing my gym. I was investing in real estate, and I was working for Gym Launch, and I just was getting pulled in so many directions, and I knew it wasn't fair for me to split my attention. And I made the decision to leave Gym Launch and go really pursue real estate. Was definitely the thing that I was focused on at the time. And UK, like, you stayed, right? And so like we were literally in very similar situations, and I left and you stayed. And then like fast forward 3 years later, like dude's this freaking CEO of Gym Launch, which is now worth what? Cale, did you say? How much did you say it was
currently,
worth?
currently at 80, if we're going to sell today.
80 what?
80 million.
US?
Yeah, that's USD. Yes, that is
Freaking
USD.
wild, dude. And yeah, dude. So like this is where you take over.
Yeah.
Where, like, how did that happen? Like, I was gone over the last 3 years, so I know nothing. So everybody else knows nothing unless they've been stalking you for the last 3 years. But I like, how did that happen? Like, shares the story.
I'm a nobody, so nobody's stalking me. First of all, really appreciate being on here. Very humbled to be on here. Especially from my beginnings, and Logan's very familiar with how we all got started. So joining Gym Launch, I joined as a client. I was there for a year, met at that first mastermind. Fast forward to the following April, I joined Gym Launch. I quit my other job and then joined Gym Launch. And it's a full other story of why I always had jobs with my gym. That's a different thing, and we can get into that later on. But joined as a salesperson, selling actually doing an internal sales with Logan. So I was on Logan's team. So joined with Logan, we had 3 guys on the team and did that, and then moved into doing front end sales and back end sales. And then 3 months later became a sales manager. And self-admittedly, and like if you look at the data, I was a terrible sales manager. Learned a ton. And I learned exactly what a good sales manager should be and what a bad sales manager looks like. And I would just look in the mirror and I know exactly what a bad sales manager is. But I learned a ton over about 8 months. And then I moved over to the coaching side, the product side, and became a coaching manager, helped build a team of roughly 30 plus coaches. Logan, you're one of them. And we built a team of coaches to do a coaching program that we were releasing within the Gym Launch community. And then we ended up actually just disbanding that entire team, and then went in a different direction with that. And then in 2020, January of 2020, I became the GM. Everything was looking amazing. It's 2020. It's beautiful. Gyms are doing great. Our business is moving up. Everything's just perfect. About 10 weeks later, everything came to a screeching halt. And as GM, basically, I remember in January, we had our strategic meeting, and Alex Hormozy was like, cool, you're the GM. It's all you. Have fun. And so that all came to a screeching halt in March when everything got shut down. And then we won't rehash kind of what happened over the course of that time, but it was just a bitter grind for roughly 18 to 20 straight months of just figuring out whatever we could possibly do to try to help gym owners reach more people, change more lives, and build a profitable business during a time when they were not even allowed to be open. And I mean, countless hours. And then fast forward, we were preparing to sell. Alex and Layla were preparing to sell and get acquired. And I don't even remember. I remember asking Layla, I was like, cool. So like, who are we going to bring in as like a CEO? I'm assuming we're going to, so we're going to need to talk about a transition period and all this stuff. And she was like, no, like, you're the CEO. You're going to be the CEO. And I was just like blown away. I was like, what? Like, I was a guy that owned a broke gym in 2016. In 2017, it was about to shut my doors of my tiny little gym in 2017. And now you're telling me I'm going to be the CEO of a private equity acquired portfolio company, and very humbled. And then we closed December 24th, Christmas Eve, 2021, officially. So APG, American Pacific Group, a private equity firm out of San Francisco, purchased majority ownership of Gym Launch. And I became the CEO of, at the time, 2 companies. We now have 3 companies. One is a startup. Shout out to gymowners.com. And we're currently building a tech startup on that. But yeah, and so since then I've been the CEO, and we've been able to grow across the board as a portfolio, roughly 53% year over year since became CEO. And our team has done an exceptional job. And it's a shout out to our team. It's a shout out to all the amazing gym owners out there. And just, yeah, it's been an amazing ride. Amazing ride.
So Cale, touch on that moment where, again, you guys see how Cale's so humble. He's like, who's going to be CEO, right? Like, truly didn't even see that himself was being the best candidate, and asked Layla, who's going to be the CEO. But walk us through that moment when Layla said that you're going to be the CEO. Like, what were some of the emotions, what were some of the thoughts? What were maybe some of the conversations that you and Maggie, if you guys don't know who Cale's wife, Maggie, is, like, amazing human, like amazing humans hang out with amazing humans. And so anyway, what were the conversations that you and Maggie were having when Layla approached you about being CEO?
Yeah, I think the first obvious thing was shock. I was speechless for probably a good 60 seconds of just kind of sitting there and just being like, really? She's like, yeah. She's like, who else would do it? And then there's a mix of emotions. There's fear, right?
Yeah.
Of like, can I do it? Am I the right person? Like, I didn't even think that this would be something that I could do or I could handle. And then the conversations with Maggie were very similar of like, I don't even know what this is going to look like. Do we want this? Right.
Yeah.
Alex has this saying, heavy is the crown. And, is this something that we want? Does this match our vision of what we want? And it did, and it still does. And there was a lot of, then it became excitement. And then the day that we closed, I remember after Christmas Day, the first week of being CEO, that first night. So after Christmas, the day after, I remember going to sleep the night of December 26th, and I couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep the entire night. And I wanted to throw up. Like, I just felt sick to my stomach. I was thinking about all these things because I was like letting the fear and the limiting beliefs, cloud my judgment. But I remember like getting out of bed that morning and just being like, cool, that's done. Now it's time to work. It's like, I'm here for a reason. And regardless of what happens, I'm still going to work through the fear. I'm still going to work through any disbelief that happens. And I'm going to face it every single day. And we're going to do everything we possibly can to help our clients be able to change the world.
There's one thing you said in there about a quote that you and Alex talked about. He said, and I didn't quite catch it. You say, heavy is the crown.
Heavy is the crown. Yeah. So the person that's on top, there's so much you have to deal with that no one sees. So, because if the business crashes, even though like we're owned by American Pacific Group, like if let's say the business crashes and goes down, that's on me. I own the decisions. Like it's 100% on me. And the strategy and the decision. So like, here's a perfect example. We get bought December 24th, and they bought us with the idea of this product that we were selling at the time and offering to gym owners. And 2 months later, I'm looking at the data, and the data is telling me that this isn't the best product for our customers and that we should scratch it and that we should start all over and offer a brand new product. So now I have to go into the very first board meeting in Q1, or technically Q2, the very first full board meeting that we have. I have to go into that, and I have to tell a brand new board that we need to stop selling what we were selling during the sales process and show them that this is a better product and that they need to trust me. A brand new CEO that they've never met, or they've met, they don't know, they have no track record of knowing if he can actually deliver on this. And then we have to totally switch the offer that we have. And I told them that we would lose money in June, July, we would see a slight uptick in August, and then we would make more money than we were in September. And I'm very thankful to work with an incredible group, and they trusted us. And there was they needed to see a lot of data. There were a lot of calls in between, but it worked out exactly like that. Like to the T, like literally month by month, we did exactly what we projected, and we were able to do it because I knew that what we were doing was not the best offer for our clients, but like heavy as the crown, because I could just keep letting it go and just try to outsell it or try to work with it. But I was like, no, I need to make the hard call. This is the right move, and we need to go this route because it's what's best for our clients and what's best for the business long term, not just in the short term.
Yeah. Does that resonate with anybody on here about making the tough decision right now that maybe nobody else sees but you? Does anyone else feel that in your business? Like every single person, right? And so like when you decide to be the CEO of your company, you decide to start a company, like whether you signed the agreement or not, like you became CEO of the company, you became the person who's in charge, and you also take the responsibility of wearing the crown, as Cale just says, right? So I want you guys to sit with that for a second. Like everything I want to hear, you're feeling the pressure. Like this is your opportunity to serve. Like this is your opportunity to do what's required, right? And then another thing that Cale just talked about there too was, did you guys hear how there were so many times where his emotions, he felt the emotion of fear, the emotion of like not wanting to do anything, like being paralyzed, but he acted despite the fear, despite the emotion, right? So Cale,
Can I add something to that? Okay.
Yes, please.
I'm probably in the minority here, but for me, I feel that every day, at least for like a split second.
Yeah.
So just FYI, like,
yeah,
we're doing better. We have we're making more money than we have historically. We have better margins than we have historically. We're helping more gym owners than we have historically. Our clients are getting better results than they have historically. And yet every day there's a point in every day where there's this fear and the lies that come into my head for a split second of like everything could come crashing down.
Yeah.
Right. And yet still have to act regardless. So I think it's important to understand, because we all feel those, like regardless of the level, it's always there. Just because you reach a certain level doesn't mean that it all suddenly becomes beautiful and amazing. It's just now there's the next level, and it's just acting in spite of it.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that even if the people on here, if they have a business that does $10,000, $15,000 a month, that they're going to feel those type of emotions when they make $50,000 a month, Cale?
You're going to feel the exact same emotions.
What about when they make 100,000 a month?
You'll feel the exact same thing.
And so is it worth avoiding, or is it worth accepting? Or is it or like what is the strategy? Like honestly, like what is the strategy of dealing with emotions?
I think you have to understand there's a lot strategy. The simple strategy is to work through it. You just work through it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to work through it regardless, no matter what. And you have to lean in and conquer it. I love it. But the other thing is really just, you have to understand, are you in it for the right reasons? Like, do you actually truly want it?
Yeah. And
sometimes the end result isn't like the money is one thing. Like you guys will get in here, you're going to be super successful. You're going to crush it. You'll make a lot of money. You'll realize that the money, like let's say you're sitting at $15,000 a month and you want to get to $100,000 a month. You get to $100,000 a month and it's still not enough. Trust me. So it's not the money. The thing that helps me a ton is the game of business and increasing my skill sets in every level. And if I can learn how to play a game at a higher level, which is what you get to do as you make more money, you get to play a game at a higher level. Yeah. That's what's fun. And that's what allows me to push through any fear, because it's like, cool, that means I'm leveling up. Every time I recognize that fear, it's an opportunity for me to recognize there's something that I need to learn. There's a skill set that I need to acquire that I haven't yet acquired.
There's something you said too, that maybe some people caught, maybe some people didn't. But when you went in and had that hard conversation with the new group who bought you guys, like it would have been easy for Cale just to do what would have been easy for him, which was just to keep doing what he was doing. But if you guys heard what he said, it wasn't in the best interest for the client. And so Cale's job as CEO was to serve the business. And the one way that Gym Launch goes is by having clients. And so he knew that the product was not the best product. And so he was willing to take a short-term prestige loss. And I say prestige not from Prestige Labs, which is a whole different company that is part of Gym Launch, but just from basically an ego hit. Like Cale was willing to say, hey, I'm going to put myself on the line because I believe there's a better product out there for our current clients. And so that service also allows you to make tough decisions. It allows you to push through fear, because when we take the focus off of us and our problems, we put it on who we're serving, it allows action to be more fluid. Right? So that's one thing I want you guys to catch when Cale said that. And again, it's one of the reasons why Cale is a good leader, is because he focuses on serving. Like he's a service first person, and then that obviously rolls over to him and how he makes decisions as a CEO is like he serves. So it's awesome. So you talked a little bit about this new company. Is that what I don't know, what did you call it? Like what is gymowners.com?
gymowners.com. It's literally the name of the
company.
Gymowners.com. It's a tech startup that we're building. We're building a brand new CRM and tech integration for gym owners to replace their CRM. We're going to build something that eliminates jobs within a gym. I know that sounds bad, but from an ownership standpoint, it saves them money, and will include task automation, everything that a gym owner needs inside of one system to be able to go out and get more clients, sign them up, keep them longer, manage their teams, and do everything in one spot. Because I found we've done a lot of research and we've spent a lot of years looking at CRMs, and I won't get too much into it because that's not the focus of this, but a lot of CRMs are built from a engineering mindset rather than a gym owner mindset. And I want to bring something to market that's actually completely free for gym owners and gives them everything that they need to run a gym wildly profitable, eliminate some admin positions, do a ton of task automation for them, and take over the CRM space.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think everyone in here who is part of our Clean Biz community, we all face the same similar challenge that we face in the gym industry, is that there is no one CRM, right? There's a bunch of different CRMs. Everyone has their pros and cons, but there's not one that was made specifically for what we're trying to do. So maybe Cale can knock it down in the gym space, and then somehow we can figure out how to turn that into the cleaning space. But
let me crush the gym space first.
Exactly. So you've been CEO now for almost 2 years, I guess, a year and a half, right? Along with building this new product line, gymowners.com. Like, what targets do you guys have set out? You don't have to be specific, but like, do you guys have a 5-year target, 10-year targets, 1-year targets? Like, do you have targets that you guys have set out that you guys are moving towards every day?
Yeah, for sure. So the way that we structure our goal setting within our portfolio, and this is also, we've already been doing this, but this is actually how they do it within APG and all their portfolio companies. We do what they call their Q process, which we set 5-year DSOs, which are desired superior outcomes. So 3 to 5 year range, like what's the dream state that you want your business to be in? And then we set VFOs, which are yearly. And so those are called vital few objectives, VFOs. And we set those on a yearly basis. And our goal, there's no more than 5 VFOs. And our goal is that if we accomplish these move us closer to achieving our DSO. And our DSO can be 10, 15, 20 things. And then we break it up into quarterly MITs, most important tasks. It's very similar to like OKRs, if you're familiar with, I think it's EOS system. Like there's all these similar things, WIGs. There's always a bunch of different stuff, but that's how we do it. And I think overarching goal here is within Gym Launch. My goal personally is to build a business that's valued at an enterprise value of roughly $250 million to $350 million. And then because we're in the private equity world, the whole goal is to build and then get acquired. And so our goal is to build to an EV of roughly 300 million and sell and get acquired.
That's awesome. If you wouldn't mind sharing a couple of those yearly goals, not maybe not specific your actual specific goal, but what are some of those numbers that you're setting as, or some of those variables you're setting as goals? Like, is this like you're looking for specific revenue, specific profit, and amount of customers? Like, what are like some things that people hear can be like, oh, like these are 5 goals that I can actually put, that I can set as goals in my business as well?
Yeah. So we always do a budgeting process. Every single, like Q4 is our budgeting process. We get our budget in line for the next year, and then we stick to that budget, and then we judge against that budget. And that budget includes to the detail of how many clients we sign up in every program every month, how much we spend on ad spend that month, how much we have budgeted, what is our expected growth, what's our expected churn in every single program, what's our expected renewal rate, how much, like on the supplement side, like what's our COGS going to be, what's our shipping cost going to be, what's our insurance cost going to be, both cyber, everything. So we build all of that out. And when we build those out, we first start with the idea of, cool, what's our previous history? Then what do we think that we can do? And then how can we improve this to increase both top line and bottom line? Because in the private equity world, it's EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, which is basically a crazy word of saying profit before you have all the other stuff. And so our goal is to increase EBITDA. And what we do is we just reverse engineer kind of from long-term of where we want to go. And then we go into every single month and we build it. So our targets are typically, the goal is within a private equity group is to grow roughly anywhere between 33% to like 50 to 60% over the course of the fund, which is typically 5 years. And that's the goal. So our goal is to, well, really it's to really triple, but like our goal is to triple in 3 years, 4 years.
Awesome. So basically, if people are on here being like, what should I focus on? It's really simple. You actually focus on your profit. Like that's the goal, that's the number they should be focusing on. If there's one like high and mighty, one target that they're focused on, it's profit.
Always.
Cool.
And like your 2 drivers of that are obviously, it's super simple. Like keep it super simple. Your 2 drivers of that are top line, I can make more, and then cost. How can I decrease costs and increase efficiencies within my organization?
That's awesome. Was that helpful, guys? Coming from someone who runs an $80 million company, like you guys can now scale this down to your company. Like, what should you guys be focused on? Like, let me see in the chat, what should you guys be focused on? What's the number one thing? And then what are the two variables that affect your profit? Yeah, it's awesome. All right. We have some questions here, Cale. Do you think we should get to some of these questions? Holy moly, we have lots of questions here. We're not gonna get to all the questions, guys. I'm sorry. We have about 30 minutes, and
speed round. We'll just speed through them.
We'll just we're just kind of gonna rock through them here. So, are you guys ready for some questions? You guys ready? You guys ask these questions. Are you guys ready for them? Okay, cool. And I don't know who asked these questions, but James, thank you, James, for grabbing these questions and putting them on here for me. Okay. Let's see, first question here. What type of personality traits and skills does someone need in order to grow an $80 million business? And you can even take that down, like what sort of skills and traits does it take for somebody to grow a business?
Yeah. I think you need to be a little bit crazy.
What do you mean by that?
I think you need to have a belief that you can achieve something that other people find unreasonable. If you feel out of place around a lot of your friends and family who have regular steady jobs and you're an entrepreneur, you're doing something right. You're not weird. Welcome to being an entrepreneur. You're not out of place. I remember sitting down and having dinner with a friend of my father-in-law's, and I was owning the gym, and I'll never forget this conversation. And that was, he mentioned something on a side comment to him that didn't mean anything to him, but to me, it made, I'll never forget it. And he just said, cool, so when are you going to get a real job? And I remember hearing that. And I just remember I let it pass because I'm like, we're having dinner. I don't need to do anything. But like, I just remember letting that sink in. And I've always kind of been the weird, odd person out. Might have been because I was homeschooled my entire life too. And I moved every 3 years. And the only way I could fit in was playing baseball and meeting new friends. So I figured out that I had to find a way to fit into different rooms and understand and read people really quickly. But I think you have to be unreasonable in your expectations and unreasonable in your dreams. And to couple that, you also have to have an unreasonable amount of persistence, because you're just going to get punched in the face consistently. And if you're ready and okay with getting punched in the face, and you realize that quickly, you'll realize what hard actually is. And once you realize what hard actually is, then you can go through anything. When you wake up one day and your client, like in the gym space, like one of your trainers left and took half your clients, okay, this is what hard feels like. And then you rebuild it, right? Or you wake up one day and your payment processing is shut down and you can't process any payments, and you figure out a way around it. You're like, okay, this is what hard feels like. I'm going to move through it. And then the next time that happens, you're like, I've already done it. I know how to fix this. I know how to solve this. But if you go into it understanding that it's not an easy ride, and that while everyone's out, like having fun, getting their salary and, clocking in 9 to 5, but on the weekends, they're living like they're having fun on the weekends because they hate their jobs and they hate their life, but you're there chasing your dream. Like, you're the one that's doing it well. You're the one that's living life right.
Dude, that was a fire answer. That was amazing. Okay, next question we have here. How did you learn to be an effective communicator?
I still don't think I'm a very effective communicator. I'm still learning that one. Listening and being in the room with people that I believe are effective communicators. I had the pleasure of, and I still get the pleasure of, talking with Alex Hermosi a lot. And I got the pleasure of working literally right with him and being on multiple calls per week with him for 2 straight years and spending a lot of time with him. And I think we could all agree, if anyone here is familiar with Alex Hermosi, that he is a highly effective communicator. And just sitting and watching him and being self-aware to understand the first principles behind how he communicates, and just taking in what he says and watching him, how he interacts with people, what he says when a question is being asked, how he thinks through the mental models going through his head to answer a question. Those are the things for me. I remember getting onto the strat team for the very first time. So we have like multiple levels of leadership within our team. We have an executive team, so our C-suite, and then we have, which is a group of 5 of us. And then we have our strat teams for each company. These are strategic leaders within each one. And then we have kind of the rest of our team. And I remember getting to the strategic team for the first time. And I don't think I really said a word for like 2 months. I just sat there and listened, which is not good, by the way, not good. I should have said something and spoke up, but I remember just sitting there because I wanted to get a lay of the land and understand, okay, how do people interact? How are people communicating? What's the best way to go about it? And to this day, I mean, if I get in a room of people smarter than me, I'm just going to shut up and I'm just going to listen. So, but effective communication, I think it comes down to, I'll go this way with this. Effective communication is being able to take any type of information, idea, theory, boil it down into something very simple that you can get across extremely fast. Because time is the most valuable thing that we have. And the most effective communicators take very complex things, boil it down into something very simple, and communicate it in a way that everyone can understand. And so I've spent a lot of my time doing that. And I have a tactical way if you guys want to know, like a super tactical way. Does anybody want to know? If you do this thing every day for the next 2 years, you'll be in the top 1% of effective communicators in the world. But you have to do this every single day for at least 2 years. You have to pull your phone out or pull your camera out, and you need to make short form content, and you need to teach people or provide you like valuable advice and information every single day. You need to get on video and you need to post it, and then you need to watch it, and then you need to get better, and then you need to do it again, and then do it again. Don't script it, do it. If you do that, you will be an exceptional communicator and influencer. And I don't mean influencer like influencer on social media. I mean influencer in the means that you will be able to influence people.
Yeah. That right there is like, everyone here was expecting like a little zinger and a little tidbit, and what Cale gave you was actual practice, actual work to be done. And so that's going to separate the people who are actually going to become effective communicators. Is like, it's not in a book that you read, it's not in a quote you saw from on Instagram. It's doing the thing. And like, if you guys, how many of you guys went and followed Cale? Did everyone do that? Did everyone on here go follow Cale? James, we drop Cale's link again, please, for anyone who was sleeping, who was snoozing when we dropped it earlier. Like, if you guys look at Cale's Instagram, he posts a lot of content, right? Like, he's someone who doesn't just talk about it, but he does it. Is it super easy talking to your phone and no one talks back to you? It's a different skill set, right? When you're like trying to solve someone's problem and they haven't even told you what the problem is, like, that's a different skill set to have. And so like, that's what Cale is saying, is that like, by you just practicing, by talking to this phone and by trying to like teach and solve problems, you're able to anticipate when you are in a situation where you can actually get some interaction, that you'll be able to help take a complex problem, and maybe you can spit out a Instagram worthy tweet, quote, or whatever it is, right? Like you can condense it into something that's like, it's punchy and it makes sense, and people can take action on it. But you can't skip the work. Cale. Okay, let's go a little soft now. Let's go a little softer here. Like, do you have a favorite book? Like, what book outside of $100 million offers and Alex's new book, $100 Leads? We all know that's going to be our new favorite book. But outside of those two books, which everyone on here, just so you know, okay, like I bought every single person on this call a book.
Nice.
And but outside of those two books, what is one of your favorite books? Just personally, not the one that you'd recommend. We're not asking for recommendations. Like, just one that like resonates with you.
So I'm kind of weird. I'm obsessed with just growth, period. So most of my stuff like is going to be business related or growth related. So my favorite book outside of the Bible, so I'm a believer, outside of that, is The Motive by Patrick Lencioni. And he writes this kind of story. He teaches through a story of two different CEOs and the way that they act differently, and how one CEO learns from the other on how to motivate his team, inspire his team, and improve his overall company's performance. It's called The Motive. I'll type it into the chat.
Nice.
Patrick Lencioni. Yeah. He has a bunch of, I'm probably going to butcher how
he's the same author as The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, correct?
Yep.
Or the 5, is it 5 functions, 5 dysfunctions?
I think it's 5 Dysfunctions.
5 dysfunctions.
Wrong. Yeah. I think I've actually got it here. It's been a while since I've read it, but yeah, The Motive I would say is hands down my favorite book.
That's awesome.
I'm pretty simple. I like stories. I like picture books, like
Yeah.
anything that's really easy to digest.
What about this book, Cale? You like this book?
Oh, that one?
Yeah,
This
that
one?
too? Yeah.
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 This
that
one's
one.
up there.
You
This
should
one is
rewrite this
definitely,
book. You should rewrite this book.
dude, I've been throwing it around for the last couple weeks, actually. Like, I've thought about it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't know, before one of the authors, Alex, wrote a book called Gym Launch Secrets. It's actually really good. I actually listened to it on Audible the other day. It's what was really cool from my point of view, and Cale, like, I'm sure you've gone through it recently. You actually use this book, right? It's basically like a manual of how to freaking run a gym. Like, it's really good.
Yep.
It was really cool to hear the principles that were outlined in this book are still effective and still are being used today. That's first and foremost. But the second thing, and this is more from what I took from it, was just like how much better of a communicator Alex is now versus when he wrote this book, right? And like Alex was great here. Now he's exceptional. But it's just cool to see that there's also growth along the way, which gives the normal humans like the rest of us just like hope that if we just, like Cale said, if we can just stick in the game long enough, we can be persistent enough that we can have the opportunity to be great as well. So, all right. Okay, so this is a great question. This is going to be an avatar that you're very familiar with, Cale. And so this question is asked, and it says, what would be your best advice for creating a good workflow for your day-to-day tasks while also being a mom and living and working in a small space without an office?
Oh yeah, I know all about that. The mom part I don't, but the dad part I do. You have to be okay with sacrifice first and understand that you're not going to be able to do everything at once, and don't beat yourself up. So if that person that asked that question's on this call, like, it's okay if you miss some things or can't do some certain things, because you're not going to regret. You're going to regret more the time, those little times or moments with your kids, not having those, than if you're not going to regret doing the work. You're going to regret the time that's missed. So like, don't beat yourself up if there's times when you're like, I need to put in the work and I've done this, and you feel guilty and all this stuff. Don't beat yourself up over it. Like, you're going to have to focus and be willing to sacrifice certain aspects potentially of the business, or sacrifice sleep, or sacrifice other things inside of your life that are going to be required in order for you to reach your goals. I would you have to prioritize your attention. And that means that if you're getting pulled from, because I have 2 kids, younger age, and my wife also works in the business. She's number 2 in the business, basically our COO. And I have to shut off when I'm with my kids, but that means that I have to shut off all other distractions when I'm not with them. I don't have time for distractions. Like, other people are at work and they can scroll and they can go on Instagram, they can do this. Like, we don't have the time to do that. If work is work, I have to shut out everything else. And so you have to become so good at managing your attention during those times when you can work, when you can do those things. And there's this concept of like, when you judge yourself, and this is, I think, really important. When you judge yourself, you have to be super careful on not judging yourself on where you think you should be, but where you've come from. It's super important, right? Because a lot of times we get to it, and this is for everyone, you get to a point in business and you've grown, but you're like, I'm not here yet. You look at other people and maybe you're making $30,000 a month, someone else is making 50. And you're like, their life must be so much better. I wish I could just get to 50. And you're like, I'm not there. I'm going to beat myself up because I can't do this, or I can't do this, or I'm not able to do this. Well, you don't know what's going on in their life, but also you just went from 0 to 30. You had an infinite increase compared to the 30 to 50, right? That's a 60% increase. Okay. You had an infinite increase from 0 to 30. And I think it's really important to, whenever you're in that situation, it's okay to just be cool with, hey, I've come a really long ways. And I hit on this a lot because my wife has had to deal with this a long time, because she's been in our gym. She's been in our business, or the business here in the portfolio, for a long time. And I understand it. And the belief or the judgment that you put on yourself doesn't serve you. So you have to give yourself the freedom to be okay with, maybe I can't spend as many hours doing the work like someone else who doesn't have kids can. But guess what? Your story will be better than the people that don't have kids. It's not a crutch. It's not something that will hold you back. The story that you get to tell by working through while having kids makes it that much better when you do win. You just have to manage your attention. Hopefully, was that helpful?
You just spoke to me. I don't know if anyone else he was speaking to you, but he spoke to me. Yeah, like my wife Katie, we just literally had the conversation, like very similar conversation about 3 hours ago, and like almost to the T, man. Like I need to hear that. So did you guys get value? Did you guys get value from that? Did you guys get value from that? That was like that. I felt that. That was awesome. Okay, we'll try to get through some more of these questions here. Okay, so this is a good one. They say a smart person learns from their mistakes, but a wise person learns from mistakes of others. What has been your biggest mistake, and how did you fix it?
Yeah, I'm still learning from this one. So you could call me a stupid person. So I think there's three types of people. If you look at my content, I think there's three types of people in the world. I think there are stupid people, there are smart people, and there are geniuses. Stupid people make the same mistakes over and over again. We all know those types of people, right? In our lives that talk about what they're going to accomplish, what they could have done, what they want to do, but they never do because they're always doing the same thing over and over again, making the same mistakes. They're the people that you see 5 years later from your hometown that are in the same spot that talk about where they could have been, and they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. We're not those type of people. Then there's smart people. Smart people make a mistake once, and if it's painful enough, they don't make it again. Touch a hot stove, you burn yourself as a kid, you're super careful around a hot stove. Okay. And there's a spectrum of this because we do this in different avenues of our life, different kind of sections of our life. We can be all of these in different sections. And then there's geniuses. Geniuses sit back, they look at all the mistakes of other people that they've made, and they decide they don't want to pay the ignorance tax. And so they decide to just learn from those, and they decide to either pay to learn from someone else and fast track their way to success, or do as much learning and diving into it as they possibly can. My biggest mistake has consistently been, since I've been a leader, has been holding people accountable and trusting and verifying that they're doing the work. I am very much a figure outer by heart. I'm very much the type of person, it's like, and this is probably why Alex and I got along really, really well. He would be like, cool, hey, we need to build an outbound project. And I'd be like, cool. And I would go and I would do the research. I would dive into everything and I would do it. And then we would work together to hone it, but I would be the one to go and build it. And so like, that's my thing. And so I have to realize, and I constantly have to realize, that not everyone's like me.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to be that figure outer or the person that enjoys just walking through the mud, just face down, crawling, figuring out, going through all the different things that need to happen in order to make something work. Not everyone likes to be that. So for me as a leader, the biggest mistake that I constantly am reminded of, and I have to stop being a stupid person and I need to become a genius, is just making sure that I verify that people are doing what they need to do.
So good. I'm gonna piggyback on that answer with the next question and talk about the principles that have led your clients, which are gym owners, to have consistent success. Like, what are those principles? And number one, do they transfer over into other businesses, say cleaning? But what are those principles that you can tell that are going to make somebody create a successful business?
Yeah. There's a couple. And I'll break this up. I think there's a lot of parallels between cleaning and gyms. I think if you can be successful in a gym, you can be successful in any business. And I would suspect the same goes for cleaning, because I think they're the same issues or bottlenecks that come up in a gym come up in a cleaning business, in my opinion. And just FYI, I actually almost started a cleaning business. So just FYI,
Nice.
Decided to manage my attention and not do that right now. So not have been a good idea, but so I went down a deep trail, and actually a lot of that came, Logan, from your content of like looking at what you guys are doing, and it'd be like super cool to do this, but I was like, it's not the right time. Anyways, back to this. First of all,
almost got him, guys. I almost got him.
Almost.
We could have Cale in here.
Almost. So the first, I'll start with the boring thing, but the most important thing, and that is you have to know the person that knows their data and their metrics and looks at it on a daily basis will win long term, because they'll know what actions need to happen in order to improve their business. If you do not know your metrics, and I mean every step of your sales funnel, every step of your retention side, every step of your operations, your inflow, your outflows, if you do not know it, you will struggle, because you'll be flying blind. That has to be just the basement floor level of success. Like you have to know your data. If you don't know that, good luck, because you might see a little bit of success, but you will not see sustained success. The second thing is, you want to talk about skills, you want to talk about more kind of personality or mindset?
I love the data piece. First and foremost, like let's stay on data for 1 second, because like you and I are bred from the same cloth as Alex, and like that original intelligence sheet that Alex gave us, like that is what a lot of the people in here use. Like it's been modified for specifically for the cleaning business, but like that is, anytime people ask questions, Cale, anytime people have problems on the daily call, like what's always the return answer you give them?
What's your numbers?
Yeah, right.
What's your numbers? How much are you spending on ads? How many leads did you get? What's your schedule rate? What's your show rate? What's your close rate? Right? What's your conversion rate on the back end? What's your churn rate monthly? What's your churn rate on this? What's your churn rate on this? Right? Same thing with hiring. Same thing, right? How many offers do you have out? How many interviews do you have scheduled? How many applications do you have first, right? How many calls have you made to those applications? How many calls scheduled? How many showed? How many interviews, right? How many offers made? How many onboarded? How many trained, right? It's just same. Everything is the same thing. Break it down into every step of the funnel. I mean, I can show you, I wish I could pull you guys up a sheet. I can't because it's internal stuff, but like I built out a full sheet for our sales team because we had at one point, we still have 3 different channels, but I have to track every step of each channel. So I had a spreadsheet of every single step of every single thing on the sales side from every single channel of every single sales rep, every single day, every single week, every single month, by quarter, the whole thing. So I could see where the drop off is in every step of the funnel. So if we're getting low show rates to a closer, right? I know that there's a drop off somewhere between the setter and the closer. So we need to go in and I need to listen to all the recordings and then figure out what the problem is. But if you don't know your data, you have no idea what to fix.
So if you guys want to be geniuses, you guys can take what Cale is saying right now. If you guys listen to Alex is very big on data. If you guys are in my community, you know how important I believe data is. And like take 3 people who you have some sort of belief in, and be like, maybe I should focus more on my data as a baseline. Like bare minimum data will tell you the story of your business.
Yep.
Okay. So data. Where do you want to go with next? You can go with, let's go character traits, actually. I think this is a good place to go to. So if we have data, that's great. That's great from like a skill set. There's obviously more skill sets that are needed to be successful, but like let's say that tracking, analyzing data is a skill set. Let's talk about some character traits. What are some character traits that are needed to be successful?
Coachable. They have to have humility. If you think that you know the best route, like you don't, like no offense, but you just don't. Because you don't have access to the information that other people have. That's it. It's not that you're not smart or not smart enough. You're just as smart as everybody else.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, you may have a higher skill set, but if you don't have access to the information that other people have, because they've spent more time and they have access to other businesses or other information, like be willing to be coachable and listen and know that this may not feel right to you, but it's the right thing to do for the business.
I think, I'll share my experience. Like the reason that the speed to my success has always been through coaching. It's always been through raising my hand and saying, you know what, I do not know something I do not know. And whether in the beginning, I didn't have a lot of money, so I had to use my time. I had to get creative on how to get around proximity to people who could help me. And then once I got money, I started realizing that money, like the key to having money, like you talked about earlier, like the key to money is being able to use it. Like it does no good sitting in my bank. Like it doesn't make me, like it has no magical value outside of being able to use it. And using it to acquire information has been by far the best investment I've ever made with money.
I think a big one, and this is going to sound cliche because like everyone likes to talk about this, but very few people actually do this because it's hard to actually do. And that is take true extreme ownership over everything that happens in your life and your business.
Yeah.
It is very easy to point the finger at someone else, whether it's an employee, whether it's the economy, whether it's a vendor, whether it's a coach, whether it's anything. It's very easy to point the finger and say, because we don't like to be wrong.
Yeah.
Because when we realize that it's our responsibility and our mistake, our first reaction is like, great, I'm not perfect. That sucks. I'm not a genius. Shoot, I thought I was. I guess I'm not. But as soon as you get over that, then true freedom happens, because then you realize, great, I actually have full control over my growth. I have full control over my next decision. I have full control over the outcome of my life. And when you do that, then life becomes a lot more fun. You get to be able to act with more freedom. You get to act faster, make more money, you help more people, and change more lives.
So good. So good. So we talked about data as a skill. We talked about we talked about beliefs. Anything else that you would like to summarize as
You have to be
point to
willing.
successful? Sorry.
Yeah, you have to be willing to do the boring but brilliant work at an unreasonable rate. Meaning you have to do the stuff that no one else will do. And that's cliche because everyone talks about that, but you have to be able to do the stuff that no one else is willing to do at an unreasonable amount. This is why entrepreneurs are weird to the everyday person.
Yeah.
It's weird for my wife on Mother's Day to be sitting out in 95-degree heat in Florida with 95% humidity, pregnant, for 5 straight hours, calling leads, cold calling, double dialing, leaving voicemails, sending voice text messages, voice and sending video texts to a whole bunch of leads, because we're getting hundreds of leads every day. That's weird for the average person on a Mother's Day. The average person would be like, nah, I'll get that to Monday. I don't clock in. Right. And so the amount of work it's going to take to be successful is typically, on average, 10 to 20 times more than you even think it takes.
Yeah.
And the reason why very few people are successful is because once they get to 5 times or even 2 times, they give up and they're like, this is too much.
So good. So good. That's a great story. Like, as you started telling me, I forgot about that story of when you guys were in gym launch and your wife is.
I think I posted in the group, didn't I? Didn't I post it in the group? Yeah.
So good.
She's just sitting there, literally not even on a chair. She's sitting on the concrete on our back porch in our house, propped up against the sliding glass door. And I swear it's 95 degrees outside, 95% humidity, middle of Florida, just calling hundreds of leads.
Yeah. And one thing that I share in this community so much is like the biggest reason that I have the ability to have the opportunity for success is because of my wife. Like, my wife gives me so much opportunity. She allows so much freedom in me because she takes a lot off my plate. And Cale is in a very similar situation. Like Cale, or like Maggie, is a rock star. Again, like an amazing human, as you can tell how amazing Cale is, right? Can you guys see this? Like, Cale is like very humble. Like, when you guys are able, if you guys ever get the opportunity, and I really do pray that you do, to get an opportunity to actually meet Cale and his wife Maggie, like, they're just people who, like, when you're in their presence, like, you just trust them. Like, they just have this trust in them. And like, my wife is one of those people, and there's like 2 other people in my life who I just, like, I truly have this, like I just trust them with everything, with anything that is of importance to me. Like, I would trust these people with them. And Cale and Maggie are definitely those people. So
she's amazing.
We got so yeah, understatement of the year. Okay, we got time for one more question, guys. So Cale, again, thank you for giving us an hour of your time. Again, like, Cale runs big company, has a wife, has kids, and he knocked out an hour to hang out with us for free. Literally, like, nothing, like, there's no monetary incentive, there's nothing here. Like, he just came in here to serve you guys. And so, can you guys give Cale some love before we get into this last question? Can you guys give Cale some love? And James, will you also drop Cale's Instagram again? Like, please connect with Cale. Like, you know, don't DM him or anything weird, crazy. But definitely give him some love. Go comment on his stuff and follow him, because he's somebody who, like, you guys heard his goals. Like, imagine in the 3 years we bring Cale back in here and he took gym launch from $80 million to $250 million. Like, it's a pretty cool story. So be along the ride, right? Use this as an opportunity that if you do see Cale, or you have an opportunity to go to one of the GymCon events, or an event that Cale's at, maybe Cale will hopefully we'd be blessed with Cale going out there, like, doing more public speaking. but like this is an opportunity for you to say, hey, I was on that Zoom, and now you have a way to have an icebreaker start the conversation. So
If we ever do cross paths, please come say hi. Please.
yeah. No, please, like you guys need to meet Cale. Like you need to feel his energy, and if Maggie's there, you need to meet them. Okay, let's do one more question here. So let's actually end this with a little bit tactical, because this is, I'm sure everyone's like wanting a little tactical stuff. We did some stories, but someone asked, can you explain customer finance acquisition? And then and then if you can, how would you apply it to a cleaning business, even though how would you apply it to a cleaning company?
Cool. Customer finance acquisition is the reason why we were able to grow. Super simple. It's very simple. It's just a concept around making enough money from acquiring one customer. So they pay you enough money day one to not only cover the cost it took to acquire them, but also the cost to acquire the next customer, plus a little bit of profit. That's it. So in order to do that, you have to sell something of value. You have to have an offer good enough to get someone from either cold traffic or whatever to pay you enough money day one when you sell them, and collect that money so that it covered the cost to acquire them. So let's say it costs $100 to acquire them. You need to make at least 100 plus another 100 for the next one. So 200 plus enough to cover your profit. And if you do that, you have a marketing machine that will never stop. It's like having, you're in a casino, right? And you got a slot machine. If I asked everyone in here if you had $1 and you put it in the slot machine, that slot machine would give you $2. What would be your budget?
See it. Put it in the chat, guys.
What would be your budget? Would you have a budget? Like $1, if I put $1 into the machine and I get 2, right? It's 100% return.
Would you go borrow? Would you go borrow $1 if you didn't have $1?
I would go get a credit card advance or get a massive loan, and I would just sit there feeding dollars into this thing. Just bam, bam. Good news is you only need $1 to start, because you stick $1 in and you get $2 back. You take each dollar, you start feeding it back in, and it just feeds itself. That's literally the concept, the model of client finance acquisition. And it works on every single type of business. So if I was cleaning, my goal would be to create and construct an offer that was so valuable to my target market, the person that I'm trying to help, that stands out above everybody else. That's an irresistible offer that gets people saying, yes, absolutely, I will definitely pay you X amount, whatever that is for you, whether it's 200, 500, 1,000, $2,000 down, day one, to clean their house and to do whatever ancillary services that are needed. And if you do that, if you can do that, then you can scale. Because then you can take all that money and you can put it back into advertising. You can take some of the profits out, cover all your costs, and just keep putting money into the machine and keep advertising and keep acquiring clients at a profit every single day. And if you do that, that's how you have unlimited scale. And it's like opium. It's like other people's money in some sense, because you could use a credit card, which technically isn't your money yet. Mm-hmm. And you could put it into Facebook or Meta, run ads to an offer, get on a phone, schedule a consult, or like I don't know what we would call it in cleaning, but like you go to their house and you do a free, basically a free quote or whatever, give a quote or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you sell them right there. And what you make right there, you get them to literally swipe a card or pay you cash or do whatever. And they pay you enough to cover all the costs and the next person. And you just keep doing that over and over again. Better if you just close them over the phone, because that's just faster and you can scale.
Cale, have we talked all about the cleaning funnel at all?
No, I have zero idea what you do. To be honest, I have no idea what the cleaning funnel.
Does any of that sound familiar? Like, Cale, like we literally just took the same funnel and we use that. Except for, yes, you are right. We do close over the phone. We don't do it in person. But other than that,
beautiful. Exactly, you close over the phone? Yeah, it scales faster. Like why
so much faster.
Yeah, so much faster. Just have a conversation, cool, grab their card, done. Easy. Script, then you can scale it. Then you can scale with other people to do it. Then you don't have to be the one making the phone calls. Then it's easy. And then AI is going to come out soon. We're actually dabbling in some of that right now, where AI will just do it for you, and then you don't have to worry about it.
How exciting is that? Did you guys just get excited about that? That's how we pack a punch to end it. Like how cool was that? You guys feel that? Every guys who are using the funnel, have gone to the funnel, like Cale just basically scripted the funnel without even we haven't talked about the funnel at all. And he just it's just.
Can I give you a sneak peek into what's coming?
Please.
I'm working with a company right now that uses AI with a human voice. They haven't figured out augmentation, but a human voice that can sell cold traffic and handle every single objection overcome. Imagine you could have unlimited leads and you have AI calling with a proven script and objection overcomes that never stops. That sounds like a human, that laughs with the person when they laugh, that knows exactly what they need, can give them a perfect quote, take their credit card and charge them. And it sounds exactly like you. It's happening right now.
Everyone's like, please tell me more.
And I don't mean the fake stuff that you guys are seeing with like there's one video that blew up with all the pauses and everything like that. No, I'm talking about no pause, laughs with the prospect, goes along perfectly with it, is literally a human voice and can scale infinitely. It's coming.
Awesome. Well, when maybe I'll keep in touch with Cale here. We'll keep texting about it, and then if I get any insight on the AI, like everyone in here is just like, please, like that sounds amazing. And just so you guys know, if it works in the fitness space, oh my gosh, it will crush in the cleaning space. It'll be insane. So,
oh yeah,
Cale, we guys give Cale some love. Thank you for coming on here for real. Like so fun. Like it's been literally a couple years since we've been able to connect. And like, why don't we just connect over an opportunity like this where we get to have people around rather than just you and I, so that people get value. So again, like thank you for making the time. I truly do appreciate you a lot.
Dude, thanks for being an amazing human. You guys make sure you thank Logan, because if Logan wasn't an amazing human, I would not be here today. So, and he has helped me a ton from the very beginning inside of Gym Lawn. She was always open to give me a ton of advice, and I've learned a ton from him. So y'all are in a phenomenal community and with the right person.
Cale, super appreciate you. Again, give Cale some love. Go follow my Instagram, and yeah, dude, go hang out with Maggie. Please give Maggie some love. I saw that she started following me on Instagram, so I'll probably go DM her. But
do it. She's about to start posting a bunch of content. So heads up.
Love it. Love it. All right, Cale, I appreciate you, my friend. Give Cale some love,
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. Go crush.
What do you guys think? Zero fun or lots of fun?
This is so good. We need to rewatch this again.
We do. And guess what, guys? If you guys were not here in the beginning, how do we go get the replay? The replay will be uploaded. It should be uploaded within the next day for sure. Where's the replay going to be at? Yeah. James, we dropped a link to the masterclass. Again, the masterclass is for free. So you guys who are not inside the community, you guys go be part of the community. Again, it's 100% free, the masterclass. Go be part of the Facebook group. James, we dropped a link to the Facebook group as well. And I seriously appreciate you guys for showing up. Like this was so much more fun with you guys here asking questions. I saw some of your faces. I saw some of the nuggets. I saw some of the epiphanies. I saw some of the beliefs, the shifts. And again, like Cale and I could have just had this conversation by ourselves. And I was like, why don't we just try something different? Like how do I provide more value to you guys? While at the same time, like selfishly, like I want to talk to Cale. It's been a minute. And if you guys showed up, and I appreciate that. And if you guys got value from this, like we will model this, and we'll find the next person who will give value, and we can keep this thing going, right? It's like you talked about with customer finance acquisition, like the reason why it works so well is because you put $1 and you get $2 out. Like how often could you do that? So it's like, how do we continue to have cool guests like Cale on, and it comes back around, and we all continue to get value? And so you guys did that today for sure. You guys showed up. You guys gave Cale a ton of value by actually being here and giving him some love and giving him attention and listening. And the next step of it is also just take action on some of the advice that he gave here today, and continue to have this thing moving around. So hopefully you guys had fun. I had a lot of fun. Man, I know we didn't get to all the questions in there, but I appreciate every single one of you guys for engaging in the chat. I said the chat's blowing up, asking questions, and if everyone who tagged us on Instagram, you got some books coming your way. And yeah, I'm gonna pick five people who are gonna get the Audible version right here. And a little tip, a little hack, like working out. Does anyone here work out once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week? Somewhere there. It's okay if you don't. And you don't have to like lift weights, but like even going on a walk or going for a run or doing something, right? Something moving your body, right? a hack I don't know if hack's the right word, something that I've been doing over the last couple years. So I haven't done this my whole life. I've been lifting since I was 16 years old, but I literally just implemented this strategy in the last 2 years. Is I don't listen to music anymore. I just listen to books. I listen to podcasts. Sometimes I even listen to my own podcast. Sometimes I listen to these Zooms, like full transparency. Sometimes I listen to, like, I have coaching calls with some of my coaches. I listen to those. But instead of me listening to music, I listen to something that just fills my brain, right? So I just want to share that with you guys, whether you guys do or not, it doesn't matter. But what I would tell you, when you move, like all of a sudden it's like your brain opens up, and all of a sudden you can all the things that you're hearing, that you're listening to, just like sinks into your brain, and you're able to catch things that maybe you didn't hear before. So there's something to working out and listening to podcasts or books or Zooms that it will help connect. It'll help you make connections that maybe you did not make connections before. And so that's why I'm a big component of reading the same thing over and over again. Like, find something that is good and that's valuable, and do it over and over and over and over again. And each time you'll catch something different in it. So anyway, I'm going to give 5 people the Audible version of the book, and everybody else will get access to the Kindle book and the first 2 chapters in Alex's book for everyone who registers using that affiliate link. Again, we're going to put it into the masterclass. Everyone has it. So hopefully you guys are excited about that. Everyone excited about that? Cool. Cool. And get inside the Facebook group. So get in the Facebook group and get in there, ask questions, be part of the community. I think I have one more thing. Oh yeah. I have one more thing. Next week we are doing a new Zoom. We're doing a clarity Zoom. This is something that I've been doing with people with on the vision meeting. So if you guys didn't know, I've been doing like 6 weeks of free coaching for people on the vision meetings, which if you guys heard what Cale talked about, like how important are having clarity on your goals and targets. Like, do you guys hear how important how much he stressed that? Like, this is why we spend a whole first session talking about targets and getting clarity and knowing exactly how many cleans, how many hours our cleans need to work, what is our average revenue per clean, what's our man hour rate. The reason why we get super clear on that is because we know those numbers. It just becomes a simple math problem. Okay, but there's a second step to this that I haven't shared that I'm gonna share with you guys, of like, basically that's like the making money model. Okay, and so what Cale and I didn't tell you is that I'm actually going into gym launch next week into the community, and I'm going to go speak to them. And so they already have a coach on making money, so I'm going to teach them the next 3 seasons of money, which is managing money, multiplying money, and making money matter. Okay, so I decided that I wanted to share it with you guys as well. Okay, so next week we're going to be doing a Zoom on the 4 seasons of money, where I will briefly talk about the first one, which is making money, which you guys have seen all in the vision meetings. That's like the concept of how you make money. But the next ones are like, this is what unlocks financial freedom. How do you manage money? How do you multiply money? And then how do you make the money matter? This is exciting. Like, full transparency, like, I finally put this all together recently, of like how these all these things work together. Like, how does this actually all work? Like, I look back at my life and I'm like, oh, I started piecing things together. And all of a sudden it was just like, oh my gosh, this is how it works. So next week we're doing a Zoom on those four seasons of money, and you guys get the opportunity tonight to register for that. It's going to be next Tuesday night. So James, if you will, you can drop the link down for there. And this one's going to be really good. It's going to be definitely like, it's going to be about financial freedom. So it's a little bit different topic, but how many of you guys in here, like, what is your guys' point to owning a business? Like, do you guys want financial freedom? Is that something that you guys desire? So when you understand the levels behind just making money, it makes making money even more fun. It gives it more of a purpose. You're like, why? Like, what's the point of me making $100,000 a month? If that's your only goal, I promise you, if your goal is just to make $100,000 a month, once you get there, you'll be severely disappointed. Okay, like, that is not the goal. That's what you need to do to get to the next goal. It's like, now you have $100,000. What are you going to do with it? Okay, cool. What do you just like? You can only squeeze so much of $100,000. So how do you multiply it? Right now, all of a sudden you have Now you're worth a couple $1 million. Now what? Cool. So your ego feels good, but what are you able to do with $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million? Like, what are you able to do with it? And that's what we talk about, how to make money matter. And that, my friends, is freaking fun. That's super exciting. And it's the first time I've ever shared this with anybody, with anybody publicly. Again, I'm going to share it with the gym lords next week. And I'm going to share it with you guys as well. So if you guys want to be part of that, James says it's August 7th. No, it's, maybe I put it in the wrong, James. Where's the link at here? Let me just double check this. Oh, I messed it up. Thank you, James. Okay, hold on. Let me fix this link real quick, and then we guys can get it. Otherwise, if you guys are inside the Facebook group, I'll post in the Facebook group too. If you guys are on the email list, I'll post it in there. But let me just update this. It'll be next. It'll be next Tuesday at 6:30. Boom. Okay. All right. I just updated it, so you guys should be able to register for it now. Cool. All right, guys. That's all you guys got. So thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate all of you guys. Happy. Actually, I'll stick on here for a couple more minutes while you guys grab that link. Yeah, Nick White, Kevin, Michael Hall, Ryan, Jessica, Renee, Lindsay, Autumn, Jeremy, Christine, Steph, Jose. You guys are all the faces I see. I just appreciate you guys for always showing up, for being leaders, and for everybody else on here. It was fun. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun. Again, hit that link, register for next week's Zoom. Make sure you don't miss it. And yeah, next week's gonna be awesome. We're gonna talk about financial freedom and how to put all the games together. And I believe the why it's so valuable is that when you know where you're going to go, again, back to the idea of clarity. So when you know where you're going, that it makes going through the shit, makes going through all the problems, going through all the obstacles, doing the short-term sacrifice stuff that Cale talked about, it makes it worth it because you understand where you're going to go. All right. So that my goal for all of you guys is to help you get clarity on what you want. Like if I can do that, everything else is easy. Like Cale just gave you the blueprint to the business. Like it's not difficult. It's only difficult when you don't know where you're going to go, right? When you don't have a map, when you don't have directions. And so if I can help you get clarity on where you're going to go, there's absolutely no possible way you won't get there. Like every single person in here has the skill sets. You have the character traits inside of you, whether you've done it once, whether you've done it sporadically, whether you can do it consistently, like you have them inside of you, right? You obviously need to hone those. And the last step is just the belief. And when you know what you're going for, all of a sudden that belief, like you believe you can do it, and the level of commitment you take toward your actions, it changes. So grab that link, guys. Register for next week. Super appreciate you guys for all being on here. Thank you guys for giving Cale some love, for taking action, for being active in the comments. If you guys got any value from this, again, you can share inside the Facebook group, share your wins. This replay will be inside the masterclass, and I'll keep you guys updated on how many affiliate links that we got for the $100 million leads. And I'll be sending you guys, everybody who tagged me and Cale and Alex for the books, I'll be sending you guys $100 million offers books that you guys can get down on that book. So good, so valuable. That's all I got. Thank you guys. Happy Tuesday. I'll see you guys in the Facebook group. Bye, guys.